Good evening everyone and welcome to CRC. We are here for the LMP3s. It is round 9 of the championship as we take in the legendary Autodromo Nacional Enzo Ferrari de Imola or something like that. I tried to get it right and I failed. You can tell by that by now. But I am James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream as always. Joining me in the commentary box, it is 007 Professional, and Professional, we're here in Imola. What can we expect tonight?
Afternoon, James. Good to be back here again, as you said, at the legendary Imola circuit. This is going to be a challenge for the drivers, and I'm really excited to see kind of how they attack these curbs, attack this different type of circuit. These curbs are pretty lethal once you get on them, so it'll be nice to see the drivers, have another type of challenge compared to what they had last week at Monza.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We have already got a few lap time invalidations. Evil Dragon and Racing at Home have picked up grid penalties. Somebody coming out of the pits has gone completely wide, forcing Speedster into a mistake through Tamburello. There's a car behind him, I think, out on track as well. And Speedster is coming up towards Villeneuve now through turns 3 and 4. Legendary corners. Used to take this flat out, actually, from the final corner all the way down towards Tamburello, where Tamburello used to be a flat-out corner. He used to take, I think it was about a kilometre long straight back in the olden days, which is fantastic. Speedster, in the meantime, leading the championship coming into tonight on 128 points. Darren Sinclair not here tonight. Speedster's championship to lose now?
Yeah, most definitely. I was surprised to not see Darren. Hopefully he's not having any more wheel issues. I know he had some at the Nürburgring a few rounds ago. So hopefully he's, going to be back next week and all that. But it looks like it's Speedster's championship to lose now, and he's already, I think, about 18, 19 points ahead of Darren. So this is only going to be more salt in the wound for Darren Sinclair.
Yeah, and I mean, Mata is a further 30 points behind Darren Sinclair in third in the championship as well, on 79 points. So Speedster has really got to, I think, focus tonight. This is going to have to be another Champions Drive, I think, tonight. Even though his main competitors aren't necessarily here, Mata is the one that is here in third position. But Speedster really has got it all to lose, the American, as he comes across the line now here at Imola. Andy, by the way, has set a first lap time of a 49.3, but that is easily bettered by a 37.9 from Speedster. And Aguilera, actually, with the mistake coming through Tamburello, was only 9/10 of a second off Speedster. Not a bad lap time at all.
Yeah, it's a really, really good lap by Aguilera, but do remember that Speedster did have that lapped car, or the car coming out of the pits, I think, on the beginning of his flying lap, so I expect Speedster to probably drop another second to second and a half, and then he'll probably come back into the pits, put on another fresh set of shoes, and tank up with some fuel, and then go out and just keep on lowering that quality delta that we've seen him do at Donington and even Monza. He just lowers that until the timer hits 0, and it's pretty incredible what that guy can do.
Yeah, Speedster actually 7/10 of a second already up through the first sector, so that mistake was very costly coming through Tamburello at turns 1 and 2. Speedster now coming through the double right of Aqua Minerale, just cutting that slightly, and that is wide, and that might be a track invalidation for Speedster. I think he knows we're on board with him. Andy has gone second, by the way, with a 38.2. Good lap time, but Speedster obviously can still find a lot of time, and expect that lap time to go beyond the 37s, I think. To be honest, I think we can get a 36 from Speedster tonight.
Yeah, I think a 36, probably a mid-36, like 36.5, 36.6. I expect Andy to probably drop into the 37s pretty easily on his second or third flying lap, so I would expect Andy to be around the 37.8s, 37.7s possibly. But I'm looking, and I'm not really sure who can challenge Speedster. I know that we saw Venom the past 2 rounds, can definitely match his pace. He just needs to put in the right amount of fuel and all that, as a lapped car does get out of the way.
Goodness
well, not a lapped
me.
car, but a slower car.
Aguilera's just gone 1,000th quicker than Speedster. 1,000th!
That's incredible. 2,000ths. That is...
2,000th. It's 1,000th.
What a sliver of paper.
On my bottom right, on the top left actually, 37.821 compared with 37.822.
Ah, yeah.
Wow. So it's 1,000.
1,000 or 2. It's probably in between that, this Project Cars 2 game. A little wonky with the timings.
As always.
As always, yeah.
As always, Speedster in second, though. I'm sure he'll find the time, though, eventually out on track. There is a new feature, by the way, for tonight's races as well. And myself and Professional don't know this in the commentary box, but there are going to be safety cars out on track. I have not been informed personally how this is going to work, so it's a question of sit and hope, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, you were not informed. I was just informed by yourself. So
exactly.
I think both of us just kind of found this out at the last second. It's going to be. I'm not really sure how that's going to play out. If how they're going to call the safety cars, how many of the formation laps they're going to do behind the quote unquote virtual safety car, and then whenever that is going to get released, when that first person in first place can actually go and go green. So. Not sure, and what actually stipulates a safety car. Is it just one person crash? Is it going to be a major pileup like we saw last week at Monza? Is that going to be, maybe like the rules for safety car? We have no idea. 7/10
wow.
Speedster goes P1.
Really quick. 37 flat, the lap time from Speedster. Very quick indeed. Andy is in third as well. Venom in fourth, setting good pace once again. He's just about to come up towards the line now and doesn't improve. But Venom's doing a good job again. He's right on with the pace. And Agulator, I think, is the shock so far out of this session. He's only 7/10 off Speedster, so he's really attributing himself well. From obviously that podium last week, he's looking good once again.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that last week. He did grab, I think, was it P3
Third.
or third? Yeah. So he is definitely coming off that high from that. Seems to be just really fast right out of the box. So good for him. And then moving down the field, I know we're on board with Venom, but I think, is that McKinda for you? Is he in P9?
Just coming out of the pits.
Fresh. It's good to see him back.
Yeah, fresh from his wife giving birth as well. So he's now a newly crowned father for, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the second or the third time. And you can tell he hasn't put in any practice because he just spun through Tamburello on very cold tyres coming out of the pit lane. Nice to see him back.
Sideways too. It absolutely is great to see him back. So it's a good, healthy field today. We got 14 drivers. Alan is back. I see. We got Evil Dragon as well. Evil's been absent for a while, but he was a Tier 2 driver last season for GT3s. I raced against him a little bit in Season 2 and Season 3, GT4s and GT3s, sporting that super black livery. I love that. That's amazing. That's very sleek and very aggressive looking. AKA the Mercedes.
The Mercedes, and to be honest, I've got a liken it to Darth Vader of Star Wars.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of Darth Vader, I was watching Episode 5 and Episode 6 last night, so that's go figure.
There you go. Agulator, by the way, improved to 37.3. Venom has also improved to 37.8. Evil Dragon now just coming down the hill towards, if I remember the corner names, towards Ravazza, the double left-hander.
Ravazza, yes.
Ravazza, I think it's called in Italy, if I'm not mistaken. But that could be a Spanish pronunciation there. I'm not good with my languages. Evil Dragon coming around the final corner, coming across the line now. They got rid of the chicane, of course, back in 2006. He goes quicker than high grade, but I'm sure 23 seconds, he's bound to improve on that. And if he doesn't, then it's a big shock.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, hard race then, if that's the case. But I'm sure he'll improve to be at least within 5 seconds of Speedster. Alan is back, and we'll see how he copes with these curbs. I know driving on a pad is quite difficult, especially when you have those red and white spinaroo curbs daunting. It's really hard, but we'll see how he gets on. He did quite well at Brno the last time I saw him, so we'll see how he gets on here. I expect him to be in the top 8. Maybe along the lines of racing at home, and I think Bart maybe. Bart should improve just a little bit as well, though. But Alan is 6.6 seconds up on his time, and should be still going to put him in P12, I think.
Yeah, it will, but I think he made a mistake through the middle sector on that lap, so the American hopefully going to be delivering a good performance here tonight. I'll come on to what was announced in Discord over the last few days at the end of the stream to keep you guys anticipating about an important announcement that will come at the end of the stream. But Alan Cavagnaro coming now through the top of the hill, through Variante Alta, and now running down the hill towards the Ravazza section out on track. 7.7 seconds improvement, so may have lost it actually coming through Ravazza down the hill. Very tricky braking zone, just a slight overcommitment, but lovely through there. Now the American should definitely improve on this time. It looks like a quite neat lap, to be honest. Let's see what lap time he's going to set as he comes across the line. He's got massive amount of fuel, by the way. 80 litres of fuel in that car. That will inevitably go down as the session progresses with only 3.5 minutes left, basically. Alan across the line goes 11th. Really found the time, and I think he did make that mistake in Ravazza because he's improved ahead of McKinder for you with a 140.4. Emmanuel, by the way, in 5th position as well, just coming through the first sector. 1.6 seconds off the pace and only 5/10 off Andy. He's just came out the pit lane, I think, but he's doing a good job in 5th so far.
Yeah, and I think, and we've seen in the past few races, he's actually had the leg up on his... Ooh, as he massive drift through that corner, which is... Was that?
Coming down towards...
Piratella?
Yeah, Piratello, I think.
Piratella, yeah. But he's actually had a leg up on his teammate racing at home for the past few races, so we'll see if he can keep up that consistency and that pace. But they are closely matched. But P5 is quite strong as he backs out of this lap and probably just wants to set himself up for a good flyer. As you see, Agulator now still 0.3 off. I'm surprised that Speedster hasn't improved his time into the 36s. As I say that, we're on board with him now, and he's probably going to improve or just now starting his lap.
Oh. Yeah, we'll see as he comes across the line. It looked very neat coming out of Ravazza through the double left-hander, and now through Variante Bossa, which was the chicane, but obviously has got rid of. Speedster now coming across the line. He improves 36.7. Wow. So you're pretty much spot on in terms of lap time currently. Yeah,
and we'll see. So the top two are, they're within half a second, but then after that you have Venom down to... Alan, I guess, separated by about 2.6 seconds, 2.9 seconds, if you include McKinder for you. But Venom, let's see what Venom can do, because he actually matched the pace and actually, I think, beat Speedster in Quali in Donington, if I remember correctly.
He did.
So hopefully this lap, if he just has to put it together, I know the braking into...
Oh.
Ooh, wow, into Ravazza.
I think he might be preparing for a lap, actually, this.
Gotcha. Let's see what they can do on this lap, then.
See if Andy's just coming across the line just in front of him. Doesn't improve, but he was 0.2 of a second off. The Scotsman hopefully going to be improving on this lap. I think Speedster is just coming out the pit lane as well. Not enough time to set another lap, but has he done enough? I think he might have done, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. I think almost 0.6 separated himself and Agulator is quite big, and Agulator, he might be able to get down to a 37.1, possibly. But, yeah, we'll see.
Here he is,
Agulator on a lap.
I think he might be. He's coming up towards Variante Alta at the top of the hill. Let's see what he's like. The second sector split is going to come up in about 5 seconds' time, so we'll see if he's improving through this middle sector. And no is the answer to that. But we'll carry on board because he's coming towards the end of the line now. McTulsey, by the way, went 7th with a 39.7 and racing at home is only 8 thousandths off in 8th, but has picked up a grid place penalty because he sped, I think, in the pit lane. Agulator now around the final corner. Coming across the line now. Let's see what the Spaniard can do as he's going to come across the line now. And no improvement. I think he was preparing for that.
This is his final attempt.
Yeah, Venom and Andy. Let's see what Andy's doing through Ravazza. Double left-hander.
Very, very fast.
Nice.
Wow, he's really just sent it down there. I thought he wasn't going to make the corner.
Really quick again through the double left-hander. Yeah, totally. And through Ravazza, through the second half of Ravazza as well. Very quick again. So Andy's looking really on the money here. Is he going to improve his speed? So has invalidated his lap time. Andy across the line. He improves by a 10th. But doesn't improve his position. Venom is into the pits, won't be improving. Agulator is the only real one that can improve, I think, to match Speedster for pole position currently out on track.
Agulator's looking very, very strong. Honestly, I did not expect him to be P2 on Quali, so that's a really, really nice surprise. Takes that pretty well, those curves, pretty nicely. Let's see how he takes this very challenging chicane here.
Beautiful through Variante Alta, catching the curves very nicely indeed.
Ooh, a little wide. That might be an invalidation.
Could be, but he might have played his cards right. He's only a 10th down. Just going to run on board with Emmanuel, who I think is coming around the final corner now, and he's going to come across the line as Evil Dragon and Agulator both invalidate lap times. So Agulator's lap time is done. As we go off on board with him, Emmanuel now comes across the line. Goes fourth
Nice.
ahead of Andy by
Wow.
800ths of a second, roughly. So Manuel goes fourth, Aguilera in the pits. Racing at Home has, I think, invalidated his lap, if I'm not mistaken. Andy's in ghost mode for me. I'm not sure if he's for you.
Yeah, Racing at Home is in Ghost. He's very, very blurry and ghosted, so I'm not really sure what's going on there.
He improves up to sixth, whatever it was. 2.1 seconds off Speeds this time, and RRT Matter might have jumped up there. I'm not sure. Let's have a look at the order. Yeah, Matter jumped up to 8th as a result. But Speedster takes it by nearly 6/10 of a second. The comparison, really, first sector, good. Second sector, good. Final sector, he found all the time. It's as simple as that. Aguilera in second, Venom in third, who again is Zimbabwean. Emmanuel in fourth, with Andy in fifth, Racing at Home in sixth. Flaky in seventh. Flaky will start sixth though, with Racing at Home picking up that grid place penalty. Matter in eighth, Bart in ninth, McToasty in 10th, Alan in 11th, McKinley for you in 12th. Evil Dragon and High Grid, even though they've got one place grid penalties each, they will not lose the positions. And Evil Dragon on my end is North Korean. Yeah.
So I got some interesting nationalities here, I think. Yeah, Venom and Evil. I'm just gonna chuckle at that. That's kind of funny.
Very strange. I didn't realise we had Kim Jong you know who racing with us, but there we go.
You know who.
You know who.
It should be a good race. I think we got a really interesting grid, at least for the top 5. You know, Venom being up there, Aguilera being up there, so he's kind of the spoiler of the party. And Andy down in P5, that's a little interesting. I expected him to be up in P3 possibly, but also you look at Emmanuel. Emmanuel put in a really good qualifying session, and he's typically strong in qualifying, but he'll have to hold it together during the race and make sure that he doesn't, keeps the rear connected to the front, per se.
Yeah, just looking actually at the final sector times, Emmanuel and Andy were quicker than Venom and Aguilera in that final sector, only by a thin margin. But if they put it together, and especially with Emmanuel setting a quicker middle sector than Venom, could have really been the case. He dropped the time in the first sector. He was only 700ths off on Venom at the end of that qualifying session. If he got that first sector better, he would have been absolutely fine, I think.
P3, yeah. He would have been up there for sure.
But we are on the grid here at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo E. Dino Ferrari Imola. And we are here. That's the best Italian I'm going to do all night.
That's a mouthful.
That is an absolute mouthful. Speedster out on top, Aguilera second. What I'm going to do, though, before I go to you for your top 3, is have a look through everyone's fields, because I normally see this, and we'll see everyone's strategy. So, Speed 85, Aguilera on 85 litres, Venom on 19. Oh, no. He's done the same as Donington. Oh my goodness me!
Mistake. Oh no, he got it right in Monza, but he messed up today.
It's 85. It's 85.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just changed. Yeah. Phew! Goodness me, the Scotsman.
Oh
my goodness me! Emmanuel on 85. Andy on 85. We've got Flaky on 85 as well. Racing at Home on 85. I think everyone's going to be on 85, to be honest. Matter, Bart, McToasty.
A pit stop might be in order today if they're. They're all in 85, and this is a pretty fuel-heavy circuit, so they might have to either fuel save, or everybody's just going to have to pit towards the end of the race.
Yeah, could be. And remember, safety cars could be in operation as well, so that could be the driver's opportunity to save the fuel and the tyres.
Yes, that is very true.
Maybe it is all positives for the safety cars, even though I'm against it, but still. There we go. Speedster, though, out on top. We are literally about to get underway. Perfect timing. We're about to get underway. Nice. The 3 red light sequence is about to go out here at Imola for round 9 of CRC LMP3. And it's lights out, and away we go. There's a jump start there, I think, from Andy, if I'm not mistaken. Speedster across the line to start us off, but Andy has picked up a drive-through penalty, and Aguilera's got to jump on Speedster, running down in towards turn 1. Everyone got to be careful down in towards Tamburello, but currently, so far, everything looks good through the front end of the field, and that is Venom down the inside of Aguilera, gets the move done. Andy forced wide, slightly burn manual, but everyone is clean through Tamburello. No need for safety cars just yet, which is good. High Grade, I think, had a mistake in the background, possibly with Evil Dragon, but Speedster leads. There's a car across, and there's a spin in the background. Around. That looks like it was Racing at Home that had a spin. It was Racing at Home for the spin, and Manuel forced his way up the inside of Aguilera for third. Really, really good start, though, from a majority of the guys out on track. Alan is fighting hard with Mac Tolsty running up the hill as well, as McKinnon for you crosses in front of Evil Dragon as well, and Evil's down the inside here, further down the field. There's so much going on as RLT Matter defends off Bart running down the hill. Well, that's actually something Flaky under attack from Matter, I should say. Bart is also on the back of Matter, and now Speedster out in front by 1.3 seconds. Brilliant start.
Matt's down the inside, makes the move on, who's that, Bart? And
that was on Flaky. Oh, Bart spun!
Oh, Bart's round.
No, sorry, it's Andy round in the background. There's another car as well, I think, round in the background as well. Which wasn't, I think it was McKinder for you losing position, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Flaky might have picked up a race director penalty, because he's just let through McKinder for you. But Speedster leads the way by 1.8 seconds. Venom in second, Emmanuel in third. Very good start, I've got to say. Maybe one of the cleaner starts of the season so far.
I think so, and that's you know, that turn 1, turn 2 can be like an invitation for a big crash, and we didn't really see that. Again, Racing at Home did lose it though on that exit of turn 3, I think, but overall pretty clean and very nice. As wow, Flaky gets quite close to the car in front. But Speedster, again, is building that gap. He's already almost 2 seconds in front.
And he's got a 2-second penalty.
2-second penalty.
Yeah, spotted it in the top left, and I thought I'd mention it on the timing. So 2-second penalty for Speedster early on. And that, unfortunately for him, well, he's got a 2.2 second lead, so it's not too bad now. But Venom is going to be right on the back of him for sure. Emmanuel looking really quick, I've got to say. He's looking quicker than Venom at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Venom picks up a penalty.
No, Speedster looks like he's made a mistake. Or got his flow down or something. He's only 0.5 seconds in front of Venom, and Mano's right on the back. So these top 3 are very, very close. And this may be an opportunity for Venom or Emmanuel, as Emmanuel tries to look, but doesn't really commit. Good man. But these guys have an opportunity now to stay with Speedster and to maybe make an overtake. This track it's very hard to stay clean and to stay consistent, so I think Speedster's going to have to...
Emmanuel! Oh, Jesus! Really close to the back
brakes.
into Ravazza. Goodness me! I thought he was going to commit it and spin Venom there, honestly.
I thought so,
what a recovery.
But the top 3 are just like skating away, and Agulator is kind of in no man's land right now, trying to catch up to these guys. He got a really, really good start, but for some reason I think he just took a bad line in a turn 1 or turn 2 and kind of lost out in that battle there. I think that's Matt's in P5, so...
It is?
I think he improved a little bit. I'm not sure where he started. I think it was, what, P8 or P7? As
P8
Bart
it was,
goes off the track. Yeah, Matt had a great start.
Alan's doing a good job as well in 7th. Bart just running off track there through Tamburello, but now Alan all over the back. A very clean start by the American. He's got McTulsey actually. Oh, and Bart gets caught in the curve through Villeneuve. Could open up Alan to go around the outside in towards Tossack corner. That is not swearing for me. And Alan's done it. Brilliant move.
Alan's done it.
Wow, but look at the penalties picking up. Everyone is nearly getting penalties. Alan, McKinder and Andy now have all got penalties.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this game, if it disqualifies you for getting too many penalties. I've never experienced that, but that could also be something to watch. We're only 5 minutes in.
I was going to cut in there. Flaky, I thought was going to go side by side down in towards Aqua Minerale, which is the double right-hander. Not into Aqua Minerale, the corner before. Was that Aqua Minerale? I might have got that right.
Yeah, that was Aqua Minerale, but the corner before is Piratella.
Piratella, yeah. Down in towards Aqua Minerale, so I was right in the end. Goodness me, I shouldn't misjudge myself, honestly. Flaky on the back of McKinder. Yeah, he was looking to go around the outside, I think. He thought second of it, and I think, to be honest, it was the best decision for the Malaysian to make. And McKinder, for you, 9th position currently on his return. But that man there is now storming away. Speedster, new fastest lap of the race, leads on to lap 4. Wow. Venom in second, Emmanuel third, but look at the pace of Agulator, really catching the back, and he's already onto the back of Emmanuel for 3rd position.
Absolutely,
really
I think Agulator's the 2nd fastest driver at this point in time, but Speed's this time, he was at least 1.5 seconds faster than anybody else on the grid that lap, as Bart is doing some lawn mowing.
Bart, I think, has had a...
Oh, a big crash.
He's lost his rear wing, and this is down the straight. I think he might have had contact with somebody running down the straight. And his rear wing was back.
Off, and now it's back.
Oh, now it's gone again.
And now it's gone again.
Very strange.
I think he did lose his rear wing.
Speedster's slowing down slightly. I wonder, actually, if we're on the verge of a first safety car being called, possibly, for that incident. Not sure what happened. I saw him drop down the field on the left-hand side, but seemingly it looks like he's out of contention. In fact, he's only at Piratello now, and that is a long way home for Bart. He's now down to 13th, but
yeah.
Speedster leads, Venom second, Emmanuel third, Aguilera fourth.
Yeah, Aguilera's making some ground. Oh my gosh.
Flaky getting overtaken by
right?
Andy. Andy up to 9th.
Yep. So Andy's going to just slowly make his way through the field. It's a shame that he did spin on that corner. I think it was Villeneuve on lap 1.
Yeah.
Just got a little loose there, but I'm sure he'll make his way back. He's on the back now of McKenna for you, so this should be quite an easy overtake, I think, if he gets a good run down the straight, which he seems to have done, going past Variante Bassa right now, which used to be that amazing chicane. I was watching an onboard from Schumacher a few days ago and just bouncing over those curbs. It's a shame they took that chicane away. I think that would have added some excitement, maybe another overtaking opportunity. Andy looking towards the outside, and he'll be smart not to do it. Tucks right in, tries to get that little over-under. Wow, really cool.
Trying to go around the outside. McKinley for you has none of it and stays in position. We're still in 8th, but Andy thought he was going to have a go into Villeneuve there, but not quite. McKinley just outbrakes himself.
Might get it down into toss of the corner, though.
Around the outside? No, I think he might go switchback, actually. Down the inside. McKinley for you opens up for him down the inside. He gets caught on the curb, and that's costly for Andy, because that could now put Flaky into 9th position. Andy looks like he nearly could have crossed on Flaky there, to be honest. Defends the position. To be honest, I would argue Flaky had the wall. No, there's McKinley for you in the wall. Through Piratella.
Yeah, he probably got on that outside curb there, put on a little bit too much of the loud pedal, and then just spun the rear around. Such
a shame for the Slovenian down into 10th position now. Racing home is into 11th. Aguilera, by the way, we were speaking about how good his pace was, but it's not. He's really dropped off. I think he's made a mistake this lap around. And to be honest, he's getting closed down by Mata, and it's only 2 seconds the gap.
Yeah, and then Matt, as we saw in Brno, he had that, I think he was in P3, had the spin, went down to like last place or something, made his way back up to another podium position. So I think he has the pace. And then he is, as I call it, Mr. Consistency. He's very, very consistent, doesn't really pick up a lot of penalties, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. It's very, very minimal. So if the people in front of him keep on making these mistakes or having to slow down because of off tracks, he could be in a prime position for P2 or P3 today. So that's an eye to keep on, a person to keep our eye on as well.
And Mata could be landing himself another commentary position with me, to be honest. Another interview, I should say, with me. But hey ho, we'll have to see how this race goes. Speedster's still out and from Venom in second. Here's an update, by the way, on the timings. 21 seconds for Andy, down in 9th position.
How's that possible?
Drive-through penalty.
Can't be from off tracks. That's
he jumped the start, so he got a drive-through penalty. Obviously,
that's true.
10 or 20 seconds for jumping the start, and now down in 9th position is Andy, but Speedster still lead 2 seconds compared to Venom's second penalty there. And Venom actually, Speedster was quicker last time around than anyone else out on track. He was 5 seconds quicker than Venom, over a second quicker than Emmanuel. Venom is doing a good job though. The gap is only 4 seconds, and to be honest, around here, around a track like Imola, with only 10 minutes gone, Speedster makes a mistake. Venom is right in for the fight, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And these two seem to be in a class of their own because they're the only ones in the 38s or the 39s. Everybody else seems to be in the 40s or the 41s or 42s. So yeah, these guys just have really, really good pace, and Emmanuel, he seems to have that pace, but again, as the race goes on, he seems to kind of fall off, and the mistakes start to creep in a little bit, starts to go wide, and then he just can't seem to regain that focus. So hopefully today he can regain that top 3 and keep his focus on. But on board with Aguilera, and his lines look pretty nice, and he's closing up on Emmanuel, so another maybe good battle to watch here. Hopefully wheel to wheel and some excitement.
Yeah, it was really late on the brakes, down in towards Tamburello corner. I think I said Piratello earlier. It was Tamburello. And Emmanuel just ran wide there as well. So this is now bringing Aguilera back into contention. He was quicker than Emmanuel, 8/10 a second quicker than Emmanuel last time around. Doing a fantastic job out on track. Mackinder for you, racing at home, high grade, by the way, all into the pits. And I wonder why Mackinder for you, sorry, is into the pits. I wonder why this is. There's no damage.
I wonder why Racing at Home is in the pits, because Racing at Home, we didn't really see anything happen, so I'm not sure if he's just going to tank up for the fuel, because he knows that you can't make it on 85 liters of fuel, so he's maybe pitting early and then wants some free track or something, and just to put in those time trial-esque laps. But we'll see if that's a strategy that nobody else is going to do today.
High grade is out of the pits in 11th position. Sorry, he's not out of the pits in 11th position. He hasn't pitted just yet. High grade now up to 11th. Flecky's picked up a penalty now as well. But Manuel's picked up a penalty as well, actually. So there's quite a few penalties beginning to happen as I tick off the overview by mistake. Yeah, 1 second worth of penalties for Manuel. Still at 21 seconds worth of Andy. Let's just look further down the field. Mackinder Few has got 2 seconds. Evil Dragon, by the way, not sure what happened to him. He went into the pit lane, but it looked like he retired within the pit lane. So, I mean, hardly 10 minutes into the race and you leave. Not really the best outlook, to be honest, but hey-ho.
Yeah. I think it was actually less than that. I think it was lap 1 and he was in the pits, and then I
6 or 7 minutes, I think, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Alan and McToasty, though, they're kind of just holding the gaps there. I haven't really seen that gap change too much, but Alan's putting in a good showing. He's in P6. So it'll be interesting to see if he can close the gap to Matter in front, which I don't think will happen because Matt just got some really, really good pace. As somebody behind is that Flaky goes a little wide. But McToasty put in a solid showing, and Flaky and Andy are going to be entwined into battle coming shortly, I imagine. Andy just has the pace over Flaky, 3 seconds faster that lap than Flaky.
Yeah, so clearly closing in, and then you can see actually now we're going board with the Scotsman, beginning to reel in Flaky, who is of course part of the ILRT Janetta team, if I'm not mistaken, here in CRC LMP3. Oh, and Andy catches a spin as we go right on board with him. That is a spin.
He hits the back.
Hits the rear end as well. No damage.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And he just caught in a spin. He got caught on the inside curb. I think it was difficult to see. We rode on board on roof cam there for that. Yeah. And Andy now has got to do all the hard work once again. 7 seconds to gain. Plenty of time. But mistakes beginning to creep in.
Yeah, and once you make a mistake and then you see that gap, like you were so close to the person in front, and then you see it 7-8 seconds now you'll be pushing even harder and trying to just squeeze a little bit more out of the car every corner, and then that's when the more mistakes start to creep in. We saw that another F1 thing with Alex Albon yesterday in free practice 2 when he was on his quali lap, just lost the rear end and completely bent it into the wall. Trying to just close the gap to Max Verstappen, but similar to Andy, just trying to find every 100th, every 10th in every corner. So he needs to, I think, maybe just take a deep breath, relax, and just feel comfortable with the car again.
Yeah, he will recover, I think, for sure. The gap is now 6 seconds, not 7. So Andy already beginning to reel in on this lap. Just going on board with Aguilera, he's lost his pace now. He's lost his groove from earlier on in the race. He got a tremendous start. He was ahead, actually going towards turn 1 just before Tamburello. Speedster then got the move done down the inside and took the lead of the race. But Aguilera has really dropped off the pace. It's 4 seconds nearly to Emmanuel on the run up towards Variante Alta. And Emmanuel is excelling, but Aguilera's just dropped off the pace completely. It's just like he's entered the race and had no practice. That's the best way I can liken it to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the time that you practice, you can have the quality pace, you can have that 1 lap pace, but trying to string all these laps together, lap after lap, consistency, as we see, it just gets a little squirrely on that last corner. It's hard to do. It really is. And from my experience doing a lot of endurance racing, especially now with Assetto Corsa and some iRacing stuff here and there, it is incredibly difficult to keep that focus and keep the same braking points, the same turning in points, just the same throttle inputs and the same brake inputs. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous on how these pro drivers, these real life drivers, can go and do 2-hour races, 4-hour races, these endurance stuff. The 9 hours of of Sebring or whatnot. So I have a complete respect for those pro real life drivers. They have it all to do, and if you don't put in the practice, that's high grade.
That's high grade.
I think he's laps. Yeah, just letting the leaders go.
Did he have a spin actually? Because that looks like damage actually.
I was gonna say he might have spun and got damage.
Doesn't look like it, but there was definitely like a board or some sort of damage anyways, as high grade was massively wide.
He's very slow though, so I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, but Agulator just doesn't seem to have put in the race pace practice, and that's, in my opinion, way more important than quali practice, because the race is obviously an hour long, quali is just a one lap.
Oh, Agulator's lost it at Variante Alta through the middle of the corner. And he rejoined safely. High grade, I think, realised, to be honest, Agulator spun in front of him. And now Agulator, he's still in P4. But what cost is that? By the way, Speedster is only 2.6 seconds ahead of Venom now. Venom,
I think... He has to
be
getting penalties or something.
Let's have a look. 41.6, 39.2. Yeah, must have been a penalty. And to confirm that, still on 2 seconds. There might have been a
penalty, a slowdown.
Yeah, slowdown, I think. There's been little differences in that with Speedster, where we do see him slow down and the gaps begin to close back up, and I think that's purely because he's trying to test the track limits, see what he can and can't cut. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely, and I think if you cut a corner, you get a slowdown, and you don't get rid of that, it can be a 1 or 2 second penalty. And I think he's very aware that he doesn't want to get those, that he has that raw pace to stay in front of Venom. But if he just keeps on racking up those penalties, that could really come back to bite him at the end of the race. So I think he's maybe playing the long game here as Venom. Oh, who's that? Is that Makinda? Somebody was on the inside there.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Gets out of the way, he can continue on with this race. I think it was Emmanuel just going through shots. So Makinda for you, good spot there, because I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I saw this like pink and blue, and I was like, that's not part of the wall. That's not a that's not a barge board or anything. Shame for him, but as we said, just a newlywed father, and I'm sure he didn't have the time to put in the practice as some others. So, but it's really good to see him on track and still holding P11.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think with Makinda, obviously, him being a new father, he's been probably woken up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning with a crying baby, or many crying babies possibly. And Makinda, for you, we have to give off a massive amount of credit to him for even turning up here in the first place and racing. And I'm sure it's been quite stressful over the last few weeks for him. But I'm pleased to say that his wife did give birth. I think it was on Thursday, he informed us, if I'm not mistaken. So that was absolutely fantastic, and best wishes, of course, go to the Makinda for you family, if they are tuning in. And yeah, he's doing a fantastic job out on track. He's in 11th, he will get points currently, out on track, and 20 seconds off racing at home, 25 seconds-ish. Mistakes can and probably will be made. Don't discount him out of a top 10, I think. Venom 2.5 tenths up on his personal best.
Nice, yeah, Venom putting in some consistent laps. Although he was quite off the pace last lap, Speedster was back on it with a 38.8, Venom with a 41. So I think these guys are just kind of trading in those laps. I think one gets a slowdown one lap, then the other one gets a slowdown the next lap. So I think that gap of around 4 to 6 seconds is going to stay constant for quite a while. Emmanuel, though, is the one I'm kind of looking at, because the gap is increasing, but it's not increasing as much as you would expect from past races. So it's clear that he likes this track. He's a fan of it. He's taken those curves quite well. He's been quite conservative over Variante Alta, which is nice. Not running wide, but he could be in for a podium today, especially if Agulator is just falling off that pace a little bit. But yeah, good showing from Emmanuel. It's good to see him up in the top 3.
Yeah, really good showing, and a really good start from him as well. He was right up there, and I think he got overtaken by Agulator, if I'm not mistaken, and Agulator's pace has just completely dropped off the cliff. And the Spaniard now beginning possibly to be reeled in by LRT Mata. Obviously, he made that mistake into Variante Alta, but Mac Tulsi is the one I want to look on board with, because the Canadian is now chasing down the American. Could be quite interesting. Could be like a little North American civil war that is going to be going on between these two out on track tonight. But McTulsey is driving better and more consistently and is lapping quicker than Alan. And that was, what,
yep.
nearly a second last time around. He's only 1.6 seconds off. And Alan, 6th position, McTulsey 7th. I can honestly see these positions swap within, what, I would say the next 3 laps maybe.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, 3 to 5 laps, and it's going to be a good, close battle. These guys are both very clean, very precise, very consistent. But, you know, as we've seen, you know, the pressure gets put on Alan, and then Alan seems to maybe, you know, crack under pressure a little bit. So we'll see if the pressure that McTulsey can give Alan will cause anything, or if we're going to see a really good wheel-to-wheel battle. Hopefully that. But McTulsey is just, I mean, you can visibly see that gap coming down to Alan, and so I'm curious what he'll see. You don't want to be doing that, McTulsey, too much.
Yeah, you can see him slowing down in towards the Ravazza section? No, I'm getting these corners completely wrong.
Acqua Minerale.
Acqua Minerale, yes, that's the one. Goodness me, I've been doing 2 commentaries tonight, including this one, and I did League of Europe just before, so it's quite interesting. There's a bollard, by the way, I've just noticed that. There's a bollard floating in the air.
Floating, yeah, I see it too.
That's very strange. Goodness me.
That's, wow.
It comes to show Project Cars 3 is going to be arcade rather than sim.
Yeah, I think so, and I think, when is Project Cars 3 coming out? Is that, like, this week
month.
Or this month? Wait, what month is it? Is it August?
Some point this
it's just
month,
August
I think.
Today.
Yeah, it is August today. Unbelievable how quick this year is going, and unbelievable how quick this year has gone pretty much in lockdown as well for most of the world. With COVID, of course. It's been horrible to see, but we'll focus on the action in the meantime, because Mata has lost time to Agulator and is losing time, actually, to Alan, who just appears in shot now. It's 4 seconds the gap, 3.5 seconds roughly. Oh, Matt has gone off!
Matt's gone off,
taking too much speed into Villeneuve, I think that was. And Alan, now on the back of him, I was literally saying Matt was getting closed down, and he doesn't want to be making mistakes like that. And there's a car to the left-hand side, which is McKinder for you, I think, getting out of the way.
Nicely done. It also seems like McTulsey has dropped off the back of Alan. It used to only be 1 or 2 seconds. Now it's, what, 5 almost? Or 4? McTulsey must have had a slowdown or something.
He lapped more than nearly 3.5 seconds, just over actually. Slower than Alan last time around, so maybe a race.
Oh, no, he did have that slowdown, remember?
Yeah.
Because we were on board with him, and he did have to slow down, and then we saw that floating bollard in the at the chicane there.
1.5 seconds though between Mata and Alan. This is for P5, so this is important points on the line here for the Brit against the American. McTulsey is only 5 seconds off, and I would say only 5 seconds off because it can change in the blinking of an eye. Flaky though was not entirely out of this either, because if you think about it, 5th down to 8th is covered by what? 10 seconds? Dead on 10 seconds, I think. Flaky,
just about, yeah.
One of these guys makes a mistake. McTulsey and Flaky are going to be in a perfect position. Andy lapping quicker as well than the guys in front. Could be quite an interesting longer term as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think Andy has been pretty nice and steady, so hopefully he can put himself in that battle for P5, you know, eventually. But just has to stay consistent. Racing on home is, not sure if he's making any ground. He's quite a ways back, but we have to remember he did make that pit stop, so he's effectively looking actually quite nice. I'm not sure how long the pit stop delta is, but if he keeps up, you know, the pace that he's going at, I'm not sure if the last lap was not great or whatever, 41.7. We'll see what he does this time around, but he could be looking to mix it up with the 6th and 7th place once those guys make a pit stop, if they have to. You know, if there's no safety car and then they start to run out of fuel.
Yeah, definitely. And if you are just tuning in to CRC LMP3, yes, the battles have gone, but a potential battle now getting in the way. Alan and ILRT Mata, this is, for 5th position. Mata's pace has been inconsistent, I would say, to put it nicely. I think he's shown glimmers of pace in the early stages of the race, but now because the track is beginning to evolve, Alan is beginning to come into play in the Ligier, and the Ginetta looks to me as if it's slower through the corners, and Alan is picking them up on the straight, and he's just about within slipstream, I think.
Yeah, I think he is within the slipstream. So see how close he can get at the end of the straight here. And then also Racing at Home did put in a 39.6, which is considerably faster than anybody from the top 5 to P9. So he keeps on doing that, and he'll be in a good spot once these guys potentially have to pit, which I think they're going to have to, because I don't know how you're going to do 48 liters of fuel on board with Alan in about 34 minutes of time. But he's right on the back of, who is that? Yeah, Matt.
Matt has
really
gone too quick through Villeneuve. Alan trying to go around the outside. I wish I could look to the left-hand side here like I was on F1 earlier. But Alan trying to go around the outside. Oh, and he spins the car. Alan is round. He tried to he just overpowered it completely out of the corner. And now, Alan, all that hard work, all of his right doings in the race has gone completely and utterly wrong. And his chance for 5th might have fell by the wayside, but there's still 33 minutes to go.
Yeah, and that was the same mistake that Andy did whenever Andy tried to do that little over-under. So I think, you know, too much steering lock and too much power, it's just these cars just want to spin around.
Yeah, which is a shame, I think. Obviously, with Andy now down in 9th position, he's still lapping very consistent in the 40s, but Alan now has got it all to do. I mean, to be honest, he's got it all to do. McKinnon is the car ahead. He's going to be given a little bit of help. And Alan is only 3 seconds off LRT Matt after that mistake. He really hasn't lost much time at all.
No, yeah, you're right. Not at all. McToasty, though, has just kind of stalled his fight. He was making up some ground, but he's just kind of held that gap and been there. So McToasty seems to... the pace has just fallen off a little bit. Speedster, though, it's been a while since we talked about him, though. He's almost 10 seconds in front of Venom, so he's, I think, found a nice little groove, nice little spot that he's been in. He's not making those corner cuts anymore. You can see very, very nice lines through that series of corners. I forgot what it is. Aqua Minerale.
Aqua Minerale.
Variante Alta.
Yeah.
But I think he's just cruising right now and saving the tires, maybe fuel saving a little bit. I'm sure he'll make a pit stop here sooner than later. Has not picked up any penalties, as we can see. So he's doing very well. Not surprised.
Yeah, 2 seconds worth of penalties only for Speedster. That has been consistent since the first lap of the race. Venom has picked up a second. Emmanuel's picked up 2 seconds. Alan's now picked up 2 seconds. Flaky on 3. Andy on 22 after jumping the start. Racing at Home on 4, McKinnon on 3, and Bart on 1 penalty. And he's still going 4 minutes down behind high grade. Well, behind the leader, but he's 2 minutes behind high grade pretty much. He's still going there with his with what was the remnants of a broken front wing and suspension damage, it seemed.
And then Agulator, I mean, that gap has kind of come down a little bit. It used to be a lot bigger, because we said that Agulator's pace was just kind of falling off.
Wow,
but I wonder if Emmanuel's pace is falling off.
Emmanuel was 4 seconds slower. The last lap around was 4 seconds slower, but it was 2 seconds slower last time around. So I think Emmanuel's either had a slowdown or was made a slight mistake somewhere out on track, and now Agulator within 3 seconds. I think the gap was something like, 7, 8, 9 seconds?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Agulator really closing in here, and the Spaniard could be landing himself with a possible run for 3rd position. McToasty, by the way, is under pressure from Flaky. Flaky showing good glimmers of pace now. He was a second quicker and nearly going onto the grass. Oh, and is he going to overcommit it down the brakes? Really late on the brakes through into Tamburello. But McToasty stays in position for now. 7th and 8th. Hopefully we'll see better racing tomorrow on the British Touring cars, which starts tomorrow.
Is that British Touring car? Is that real life?
It is real life, yeah. Donington, first round this week it's tomorrow. It starts about 11 o'clock our time, UK time. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I wonder if you can, if I can find that somewhere and watch that. I'm not sure what channel that would be on or how I'd watch that, but I would love to watch that. That's always been interesting for me. You know, watch like the V8 supercars, the British touring cars. All that stuff has been really, really exciting. As like, I don't think Flinky got his slowdown, but I'm not sure if it's connection or lag or whatever. It's just kind of jumpy a little bit here and there.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of connection. You can see the warnings actually on the left-hand side that keep popping up. Agulator is catching Emmanuel. It's 1.5 seconds. That's McKinder for you getting out of the way, but a big help for Agulator with the car being in front of him. And now Agulator is barely 1.5 seconds off the back of Emmanuel, who just overcommitted it slightly through Tamburello. You might have just seen him make a slight mistake, but gap relatively stays the same. And Agulator, 1.5 seconds quicker nearly than Emmanuel last time around. We're through halfway. Speedster leads, Venom second, Emmanuel third, Agulator fourth, ILRT, Matter in fifth, Allen in sixth, McTulsty in seventh, Flaky in eighth, Andy in ninth, Risterholm in 10th, McKinder for you in 11th, High Grade in 12th, and Bart in 13th position. Myself and Professional still here, still trooping along in the commentary box. And it's been, to be honest, a very good race. We had a very good start from a majority of the drivers. Now we're getting towards the second half of the race. What are we going to expect? Because I don't think these guys are going to get home on their litres of fuel. There's 38 left for Agulator at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the beginning part of the race was very clean, and actually very impressed by that. I was expecting a safety car, as I think you were as well.
Yeah.
But the second half of the race is going to be all about, I think, fuel conservation. We won't see as many on-track battles, I don't think, so the racing might not be as good. But the strategy might be coming into play. If some of the guys think they can make it on the fuel that they have, then obviously they're going to be at a slower pace than their competitors. But somebody like Speedster may just be, putting it all out on the track. Obviously almost 12 seconds in front of Venom, so he may be expecting to pit. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The mistakes might start to creep in as well. Alan is actually, he was about 3 seconds behind Matt, but seems to have fallen off just a little bit. May have been a mistake as on board with Agulator right on the back of Emmanuel. So Agulator and Emmanuel may have a really good battle coming up. Emmanuel just looks to be just kind of not as tight and just losing focus. He's braking, I think, too late and taking a ton of speed into Villainous.
Wow.
My gosh.
And he somehow got through there, well, maybe without even picking up a warning. That's unbelievable.
Absolutely, that was incredible, and a really good line, and very square. I mean, you can see that car is on the edge, and he's driving that thing and wrestling it through the corners. I don't think he can do that, though, for the rest of the race.
Yeah, Flaky on the back of McTulsty got very close, I think, to the back end of McTulsty there, Flaky. He's just dropped off. It was 0.4 seconds, now just gapped out to over a second. But now Agulator on the back of Emmanuel. Emmanuel is under probably the most amount of pressure he has seen all season. And this is from the Spaniard. The Spaniard hopefully going to be landing himself a second, third place in a row here tonight. Aquaminawali now awaits. And Emmanuel much quicker again. To be honest, the Genettas are looking quicker than the Ligiers through the corners at that stage of the track. And Agulator just cannot catch up at all.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to think, too, like, Emmanuel in this league is the last of the late breakers and, very aggressive on the brakes, and I think that's where he's pulling out the time. If you can brake really late and control it and then get on the power as soon as you can, that's obviously going to play benefit. I think that's what we see from Emmanuel here. I'm not sure if he can do that for the rest of the race and stay on the track. But we'll see what happens. Again, he's done 35 minutes almost of staying in P3 and putting in a really good performance, as I say that.
Oh, very similar to last lap, actually, through Tamburello.
Yeah.
And Agulator now once again on the back. Venom, I think, has just made a massive mistake as well. He's just really lost the time to... Emmanuel's round! Emmanuel's round, well recovered. Well recovered, he's down the inside! Oh my goodness me!
Watch it, boys.
Yeah, it's got to be careful there. Emmanuel tried to go for the inside line. By all means, he could have done. The gap was there, but Agulator was always going to close that gap shut. And Agulator now through, and he's up to third position. Red mistake from Emmanuel, but gotta say, well recovered, because that could have easily ended a hell of a lot worse.
Absolutely, and I think if he did...
Oh, now it has!
Oof. Yeah, I think he's just trying to regain that position, and quite an interesting line. But if Emmanuel did spin at that point after that hairpin, could have actually taken himself and Agulator out, but well saved by him. I think Emmanuel just has to drive a little bit slower now, kind of regain his focus, and hope that Agulator makes a mistake.
Yeah, he's got to refocus, I think. Obviously, he's been overtaken by the guy in front, but they've got to be wary, because Venom looks like he's beginning to come back to these guys, possibly. The gap is 10 seconds, and I say that because Venom, I think, was about 14 seconds ahead of Agulator. So obviously he's made a mistake somewhere out on track as Venom, and now Emmanuel is now beginning to close in on Agulator once again, running down the straight towards Tamburello onto lap 22 for these guys. We go with his speedster, who leads by an ever-increasing margin of 20 seconds, and again Emmanuel very late on the brakes. He's just got to brake a little bit earlier, I think, and he'll be able to control the car a hell of a lot more. That's where I think he's going wrong through the corners. It looks like he's almost taking too much power into the corners. He should be taking less power through the corners, like he did there at Villeneuve, to get onto the back of Agulator. Yeah. This is the best opportunity he could have. But again, he's just got to be careful. He's got to go, honestly, round through Tossa, around the outside, try and loop it to the inside curb and don't catch it on the curb. That's what he's got to do. He's got to try and outsmart Agulator at this point.
Absolutely. I think it's more about the lines, and, you know, as all racing drivers say, it's more about the exit rather than the entry. You know, slow in, fast out. And I think he's doing fast in, slow out. Just because he can't get the car controlled and can't get it in a position to where he can get on the throttle sooner to where he should be. So I think he could be quicker. I think it just needs to adjust his braking and adjust his lines. But obviously that's much easier said than done. So they'll probably look back at this later and maybe realize and hopefully change that for the future, for future races.
Same with the battle, I think, with McTulsey, and Flaky's taking different lines compared to McTulsey ahead of him, but it seems to be working. Flaky now on the back of McTulsey. It's only 0.5 of a second, the gap really, as they come through Aqua Minerale once again on lap 22. This is the leaders have just gone on to lap 23. Let's go back on board with Emmanuel because he's 0.6 off the back of Agulator. This is for P3. This is for a spot in the commentary box for an interview as well. And Emmanuel might have listened there because that was better from him this time around. And it looks like he gained time as well. Yeah, really gained time. Coming through Tamburello, that's more like it. He's just got to keep on doing that and try and attribute that to some of the corners. He's not necessarily like Villeneuve. He's just cut the corner.
Agulator runs wide.
They're both
he's not going to go for it.
They're both making similar mistakes at this stage, I think. And they're both not allowing each other any space and any room to make a mistake, because if one of these guys makes a mistake, I think both of them could be involved. That's the thing. They're making just errors in judgment in terms of lines, maybe. Agulator makes a mistake through one corner, Emmanuel makes a mistake through the next. They're both making equally the same mistakes, and I think it's purely down to the pressure. And Agulator ran wide there, and Emmanuel, again, is all over the back.
Absolutely. Ooh, good camera angle. And I think also we got to take into consideration the curves. I've been talking about the curves all race, but some of these, you know, like either Agulator or Emmanuel might be a bit too greedy on the curves, trying to close out the gap a little bit. And those curves, if you brake and turn at the same time, or you know, go throttle and turn at the same time on the curves, that could really locks up there. That could really spin you around. So how aggressive do these guys want to be on the curves? How much risk do they want to take? And that's something to keep in consideration as well.
Again,
we'll see. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, through the second half of Ravata, Agulator made a mistake, slight one, but Emmanuel's now getting back onto the back of him. They're both not helping each other's causes, I think, for third. It's as simple as that. They're both forcing each other, either themselves into mistakes, or they're forcing the other driver into mistakes, but it happens so often that these guys just cannot be split by the track. Emmanuel much better through Villeneuve, slide out, coming into Tossa, and again, very late on the brakes. He doesn't want to take the risk, but I'll tell you what, the risk could be the big reward here, because he's right on the back of Agulator. This is the closest it has been since we've been on board with this battle. The Spaniard leading the Nigerian up the hill towards Piratello, or Piratella even, not Piratello, but it is Agulator who leads Emmanuel for third and fourth position through Aqua Minerale. And Emmanuel, again, so much better. This is it.
Agulator's going pretty defensive, but you know, Emmanuel's going to go for it. Hopefully not, please not.
No. Agulator's outbooked himself.
He forced him to a mistake.
Well,
they both make a mistake.
That's exactly what I was saying. Both of them force each other into mistakes.
Yeah.
That is the best case of it, and that's what I've been on about all race, I think. 20 minutes to go, both of them make each other mistakes. They keep on doing that. Mata could get third. Oh my god, Emmanuel!
Watch it!
Oh my god!
Oh god!
And Aguilera's through. Aguilera lets Emmanuel through. And he's up to third.
I'm not sure, like, did Aguilera want to let him through, or was that just a mistake by Aguilera?
I think he did. I think, honestly, Emmanuel threw up to through on Aguilera. I'm not sure if Aguilera made a mistake through the second half of Ravazza, but Emmanuel threw anyways, and he's up into third position. Aguilera down to fourth. So Emmanuel reaps the reward eventually.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, these guys just making mistakes all over the place, and I think forcing each other to... Andy and Flaky?
Andy's gone ahead of Flaky, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's now on the back of McTulsey. This is the 7th. Andy really coming into play. I was going to say Alan coming into play, but he is actually on the back of Matt. He's only 5 seconds off, but now McTulsey under pressure from Andy. I think you can probably tell where this one's going to go. I think McTulsey's saving fuel down the straight. He has to be.
Look at
Andy.
That top speed.
Beautiful down the straight, and well, job done.
Move done.
Move done.
Well done,
Andy
Andy.
through. He's up to 6th. He's up to 7th. McTulsey, I think though, judging by how easy that move was for him, I think McTulsey's saving fuel to get to the end of the race.
I think so, and I think Andy with 27 liters of fuel in 18 minutes, I think Andy could make it as well. So but he might have to fuel save towards the end of the race. So he may be like they may be on different fuel saving strategies. You know, Flaky might be saving now, Andy might be saving later.
Yeah.
So that could be a thing. Not really sure.
Flaky making a slight mistake there out on track as well. But really good actually out on track currently the action. As Emmanuel stays 3rd. A Speedster's made a right howler of a mistake. Through Villeneuve.
The gap was what? Over 20 seconds? Now it's 17.5?
Yeah, I saw the timings like completely go awry, and I was thinking, oh, somebody's overtaken somebody for 3rd or 4th, but no. Speedster's made a major mistake, and now leads the way from Venom in 2nd position. Wow.
Oh, well, I guess that's what happens whenever you start falling asleep because you're so far in front. But, yeah.
Anyways, let's have a look at what is going on further down the field. Flaky threw McTulsey. We've missed that completely. Flaky threw McTulsey up into 8th position. But now, we're right on board with McTulsey. He tries to get closer, but running at a similar speed actually to Flaky running down the straight. And Flaky hangs on for 8th, McTulsey 9th.
But that's a really good line. I mean, just look at the line that McTulsey is taking. I think if Emmanuel was doing that earlier, I think he would have made the pass a lot sooner, maybe down into Villeneuve or the hairpin, which I've completely gone blank, toss that corner.
Yeah.
But, you know, the lines that McTulsey is taking are very, very well done. I think it's just he doesn't have the pace to keep Flaky behind and to keep up with Flaky. But we'll see if Flaky... I mean, he's still right on the back of him, so still a good battle.
Everyone, I think, bar McTulsey, bar ILRT, Matt and McTulsey in high grade have all picked up penalties at some point. But saying that, he's just run slightly wide, coming through Aqua Minerale, or into Aqua Minerale now, and you could see him beginning to lose the time because he wants to try and get rid of that race director warning that has came up probably on his screen. Emmanuel, by the way, is pulled massively away from Aguilera. It's now 4 seconds to get back. Tulsi, I thought he overcommitted it there on the brakes, but he's still on the back, and it's only a second separating.
Yeah, the gap between Matt and Alan has honestly just been the same. It's been 5 seconds for the past 20 or so minutes. So I'm not sure if Alan has any more to give to fight Matt for P5, for a top 5 position. But nonetheless, Alan's, I think, is doing a great job of holding it together and keeping that position. I'm not sure if Andy could close up that gap to Alan. It's only about 12 seconds, 13 seconds behind with about 15 minutes to go, so that's quite a task. That's asking about 0.8 to 1 second a lap to catch Alan, and then obviously catching is one thing, passing is a complete other. But I'm not sure if Andy will be looking at that and really trying to push Alan, or if he's just going to be content with staying in P7 until the end of the race and trying to bring it home, not make any mistakes. If Andy does make a mistake, then that could be potentially 2 positions lost and all that hard work undone. So...
Oh, and that's...
Who is that?
High grade.
That's high grade, isn't it?
And that is McKinder for you, just ahead of him.
Inda, yep.
Out on track.
I'm not sure what Andy's going to do. He has kind of a decision to make. And if I was him, I would probably be content with P7 right now and not try to risk anything. Especially for the Constructors' Championship or even the drivers trying to stay in P4, I think he's behind Racing at Home.
Yeah.
No, Racing at Home is right behind him in the championship standings. So obviously Andy will be extending that gap to Racing at Home by a few points.
And if you get out of the way there, Andy now, he's really, I think he's on a charge. Remember, only 2 or 3 laps ago, he was behind both Flaky and McTulsty, disposed of them really easily, and now the Scotsman is 10 seconds off the back of Alan. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I have said this before, I think Andy can do this, you know.
I think he can. I just hope we don't commentate curse him.
If we have, then I apologise in advance. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's really gaining.
He did pull about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds that one lap. So I think it's very possible.
Really smooth through Tamburello as well. Yeah. And May's commenting actually, Andy is the one that is closing in. I totally agree. Andy is the one that is closing in out on track. The fuel is going to be quite tight as well. But to be honest, 13 litres of fuel, 20 litres, 13 minutes left. 20 litres of fuel, I think he's fine. Speedster, on the other hand, is going to cut it very tight indeed. It's only 14 litres of fuel with 13 minutes to go. If you think about it that way...
That's not going to be enough.
Yeah, if you think about it that way, he has got to lose 1.5 litres a lap to the end of the race, roughly.
And that pit lane is not very friendly. I think it's a pretty long pit lane, if I remember from this game.
Like 45 seconds, I think.
Even if you're going to do a splash and dash, you're going to lose some time. Can we check Venom's fuel?
Venom, 15, so he's about 1 litre above.
If I was Venom, I'd be fuel saving like heck right now. Like, save, because you have no idea if you can make it. And if you can, and Speedster can't, that could potentially be a P1, especially if Speedster loses, let's just say 20 to 25 seconds, and Venom fuel saves for the last 2 or 3 laps, and maybe is 5 seconds a lap slower, you're still going to finish in P1. So if I was Venom, I would be lifting and coasting like crazy right now.
Yeah, but Speedster actually has got the big advantage of him being 23 seconds out in front. There's the big advantage.
That is true.
That is the big advantage.
Strategy.
12.5 litres. He's going to be about 12 litres coming across the line, I think. Do you know what? I think Speedster, I think he was tight on fuel, I think, in Donington, if I'm not mistaken, or in Burner, one of the two. And he was... We were expecting him to pit in and go for splash and dash, which he didn't. He managed the fuel really well indeed. And he's, just under 12 litres now to the end of the race with 11 minutes to go. As I said, it's going to be quite tight, but... He's got the advantage, and he's got even more of an advantage because I think Venom's had his mistake down through Mavata, and he's into the pits.
Venom comes in.
Really interesting.
Venom thinks he can't make it.
Has he got damage? I wonder. I think he could have made it, you know, 13 litres of fuel.
I think he could have too, but May just wants to play it safe, and this is gonna. I think Speedster's gonna take a sigh of relief and say, okay, maybe I can cool it, then just pit in with no penalty, because that gap now to Emmanuel's 33.4 seconds or so. So I think Speedster's got this one.
11 litres of fuel through Aqua Minerale with 11 minutes to go. And that fuel is literally going down 0.1, I would say, every 200 metres or so out on track.
10.7 now.
10.
I think Speedster's going to come in this lap or next lap, to be honest.
He has to.
He's got the gap. But if Venom comes out, he's still in the pits.
Oh, Emmanuel's got even less. He's got 8 litres of fuel. And Aguilera's has got 11.3, so all of these guys might have to pit. And ILRT Mata, 15 litres. I tell you what, Mata may have played a blinder here. He can get that to the end.
He could go to P2, possibly.
I think he could win this. Speedster stays out. Can be so tight. Where did Venom come out, by the way? There he is in 6th.
Venom is P6, and he only put in 26 litres of fuel, so that pit lane is very, very costly. I mean, that pit lane delta is quite heavy and quite long. But I'm not sure if Matt could maybe win this thing, because Matt's almost a minute behind And I don't think it's going to take a minute for... I think it's about a 45 to...
40, 45, 50 seconds and around there, I think.
What was the gap from Speedster to Venom before Venom came in? Do you remember? Was it
It
like...
was over 30
20?
seconds.
It was about 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, it was a... so I think he's actually lost...
So it's about a 40-second pit delta?
Yeah. About 40 seconds.
So even if Speedster pits, Matt is still going to come out in P, or he'll gain a P2. P4 right now. Alan's P5. What's Alan's fuel? Because Alan could actually reap some benefits as well.
Similar to Matters.
Yeah. Interesting.
He could get a P3, possibly, if Emmanuel and Aguilera pit in, but 9 litres of fuel, 5.8, Emmanuel's had it. Emmanuel needs to pit. I think he'll know it in the next couple of laps or so. If he doesn't know by now, Speedster, 7.9, it's literally dipped under that 9 minutes, so he is pushing. But again, advantage of being 30 seconds ahead. The gap is closing. Oh, McKinley Fu's gone off there. And is Speedster coming in? Yes!
Yeah, he's coming in. And it's this point, I think, where if you're a person like Emmanuel or Aguilera, you're wishing you had saved the first 30 minutes and not gotten into those battles, because you could be gaining a huge amount of positions here if you just fuel saved a bit more, than you wanted to. So that's interesting. You just pulled a Hamilton, going in the wrong pit box, but all good.
Pit box he goes and puts the fuel in. It's literally going to be splash and dash territory here for Speedster. Literally the minimum amount of fuel as possible. 20 litres. He's out. And Emmanuel is in.
Emmanuel's in.
And Aguilera is staying out. Oh, it's going to be really tight for Aguilera's fuel. He's going to be in the lead of the race, possibly. There's Speedster. There's Emmanuel to the right-hand side. Over speed. Aguilera, sorry. And he's taking the lead of the race. Aguilera leads, but what now? I think fuel save the heck out of that car, try and get it to the end with 7 minutes to go. That has to be his plan. It's as simple as that.
Get a P2, try to get a P2 or a P3,
Yeah. And Speedster
obviously... We can watch his inputs, his throttle and stuff, to see if he lifts and coasts.
And he lets him through. He lets Speedster through. I think he'll be coming in this lap then, for sure. Emmanuel, by the way, has only got out the pit lane, and there's Alan. There's Alan up to 4th. Wow. This race is honestly befuddling me, honestly. It's befuddling
Venom is right behind Emmanuel as well.
Yeah, he's right behind him, and Emmanuel
Venom's right there.
Yeah, Venom's there as well. So Venom, who was net P2, as Alan has... I think Emmanuel is through. Emmanuel through. Might have been a let through there from Alan. Emmanuel through, and he's up to 4th. But does he realise that Mata is going to make it to the end of the race? We've seen Emmanuel make mistakes this race. Gap is 5 seconds. 6 minutes to go. I'm going to be honest. I think Mata's got this for 3rd.
I hope so. That would be absolutely incredible if Matt has just slipped up and, just played this game perfectly. Emmanuel's also got 5 seconds of penalty, so even if Emmanuel gets past, he still has that 5 seconds. Yeah. So Matt's looking really good for a P3. Venom, I don't think Emmanuel expected that at all.
Venom's looking good for P4, because he's only got a second. Alan's got 2 seconds, and he's less than, one and a half seconds off currently. And Emmanuel, 3 seconds. It's going to be tight.
It's going to be very, very tight. And Venom actually could pass Alan before, so that would just be an automatic P4, maybe even P3, considering the penalties of Emmanuel.
Oh, and Emmanuel's absolutely flying out on track. Gap is already down to 2.5 seconds. 3 seconds, just
Alan
over actually.
In.
Yeah, Alan in. Quite interesting. 8 litres of fuel.
Alan could have made it, I think. But that's going to give Andy P6.
P6, there he goes. Past him. And there's Flaky just coming through the final corner now. So Alan into the pits. This race, honestly, is going from just one extreme to the other, to be honest. That's the best way I can describe it. Mata is still ahead of Emmanuel. But 5 seconds he's got to gain past Mata. And that is going to really cost Emmanuel at the end of this race. Aguilera, by the way, still staying out on track. Oh, and he spun. through Aqua Minerale, 3 litres of fuel left, 5 minutes to go. Get that car into the pit lane. You are not going to make it to the end of the race. No way, because he'll run out of fuel next lap.
What a shame, yeah. And then, so this is going to be... I mean, you're going to have Matt, Emmanuel, and Venom fighting for 2 podium positions, right?
He's in. Agulator in.
One of those guys is not going to get on the podium. Agulator's very slow, my goodness.
Oh, and Emmanuel's on the back of RRT Matter. Where on earth is this sprung from? Look at the speed of Emmanuel. The pace of him beginning to come into play. Matter, no, that we've seen him before with Emmanuel. He likes to defend hard. And I think he needs to defend hard if he wants to keep this P3 and a possible interview spot with me on the line.
So much faster.
But Emmanuel, did he put new tyres on that car, I wonder?
I don't know. I don't think so, because that would have taken even more time. But look at the speed he's got. He's in the draft. He's going to send it down the inside. I can guarantee you that.
Down towards turn 1 at Tamburello. Matter
Watch it,
to the outside line. Emmanuel's through. He's up to second. Matter third.
Beautiful line through with Emmanuel.
But Venom...
Break perfectly through that.
Venom was quicker than Emmanuel last time around. He's in 4th. 2 seconds off the back of Matter. 3 minutes to go. Matter has got to hang on for desperation, I think, rather than anything else.
Emmanuel's going to pull out a 5-second gap easy. There's 3.5 minutes to go. He's already, what, a second and a half to 2 seconds in front. Yeah, he's going to easily get P2 here, unless he picks up another few seconds of penalties. But Emmanuel's pace is absolutely flying right now. Andy,
by the way, is in 5th. Agulator's back out in 6th. And Andy's up to 5th.
Wow. What a comeback drive from Andy.
Really good comeback drive. He is ever consistent, Andy, out on track. It's fantastic to watch. Matter, though, has got a whole new problem behind him. And it's a Scotsman, and it's Venom, who is right on the back of him. Matter has got to put a fight in. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Venom is on the back, and Venom is not going for the overtake. That is cheeky from Venom.
Venom got a slowdown.
Slowdown, yeah, must have done. That could be costly. Could be really costly. Remember, Venom has got penalties. Matter hasn't. It's only a second, but still a second. Oh, Matter's in. Matter into the pits.
No.
And I don't think he could have got to the end of the race. 4 litres of fuel coming into the pits. Oh, and
Andy's going to pick this up. Andy's going to be P4.
P4. Unbelievable.
The amount of positions Andy's gained in the past 5 minutes has been like the most he's gained all race.
That might be the most he's gained all season, except from Algarve. Certainly since Algarve, it's the best performance he's put in for sure. He's got Agulator chasing him down though, so he could be on for 4th, he could be on for 5th, he could even be actually down to 6th or 7th because of the penalties he received and the jump start he had.
That's true. Is he going to get those? See, I don't know if he's going to get that removed though, because that may have been like a netcode glitch thing with the lights go out sooner than others.
Yeah.
Because we had that issue at Bathurst.
Yeah, he would have been streaming his point of view, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true.
So he'll get that into the stewards. I'm I'm a backup steward now as well within the LMP3. So not only am I commentating, I will also be providing some of the penalties possibly for some of these guys out on track. Speedster, final lap of the race, goes on to it, 38.7, 31 seconds in front. What can we say about him? Oh, and he's got a little bit of traffic. Who's that?
Traffic, yeah. That's
Matter.
Flaky or Matt.
It is, it's Matter.
Wow, another, because racing at home is right on the back of Alan. Well, he's not right on the back. He's 2 seconds from the back of him, but racing at home could possibly get a P7 this race after the dismal race that he's had. He's been at the back the whole time.
He's got more penalties than Alan, so count that out.
Oh, jeez, my gosh.
Goodness me.
Never mind then. Emmanuel's got 7 seconds, though, and the gap to Venom is
6 seconds.
Less than that. But Venom also has a penalty, so this could be really close. Venom could actually get a P2. And Venom is faster, I think. Emmanuel had a really slow lap last time.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. Flaky into the pits as well. So Flaky's going to lose out on P6. Speedster, though, through Aqua Minerale for the... Well, not through Aqua Minerale. Through the very anti-alta, I should say, for the final time. And Speedster counting down the clock. It's just reached 0. So that means Speedster is going to win this one. And it's not surprising, really. He's been a class completely above the rest once again. He can probably invalidate the whole track and still win, to be honest. Speedster round the final corner. You know he is going to win. You know with the celebrations he is going to do. He's going to come across the line. It's been an easy, dominant success. It's been another champion's drive. Speedster wins in CRC LMP3 for I think the 4th or 5th time this season, which is absolutely unbelievable. Speedster
I think that makes 4 in a row.
4 in a row, and I think 5 of the whole season, which is unbelievable. Emmanuel, by the way, has got traffic. He's got LRT Matter ahead of him. He's got to be careful. And Emmanuel has got High Grade ahead of him as well. This is going to be costly. I think Venom's going to get second, you know. Emmanuel coming across the line. He's got High Grade dragging him. I think he's just going to get it. High Grade has helped him to the line. Venom across the line. He goes second.
Venom gets P2.
He goes second. Andy going to be coming across the line to finish in 4th. But bearing any penalties, obviously, any potential penalties to be added on, maybe. He finishes in 4th. Agulator, another one that pitted in late. P4. Oh my goodness me.
Absolute carnage.
Carnage there. Race of the Home has dropped off the back of Alan quite considerably towards the end. And Alan runs wide there, but is going to pick up a P6. Good drive from Alan in the end. Picked up a few positions from his starting grid as well. So Alan will come across the line in 6th position. Race of the Home is going to be coming across the line in 7th as well. And then I think we've only got to wait for Flaky to come home to finish in P8. And he runs wide, coming through Ravata, who the first half and the second half through Ravata, and now Flaky, who has got, I think that is Bart ahead of him, isn't it? Oh no, there's Bart there. Flaky has got somebody ahead of him. That's McTulsey. McTulsey in 9th, and Flaky across the line in 8th. And that's the race over and done with. Fantastic action, and it is Speedster once again who takes the win. Emmanuel had 8 seconds worth of penalties and missed out by 1.2 seconds on second.
Oh wow, and it was actually only 7 with like half a lap to go, so I think that could have been even closer.
I think the hold up from Matter cost him, but to be honest, Venom in 2nd, Emmanuel in 3rd in the end, Agulator in 4th, Andy finishing 5th with penalties. He didn't come. He was the only one actually not to come into the pits, Andy, which is phenomenal. Andy, Alan in 6th, Racing at Home in 7th, Flaky in 8th, McTulsty in 9th, Matter in 10th, McKinnon Few in 11th. My correction, actually, High Grade finishing in 12th, didn't come into the pits either, and Bart finishing in 13th. The less we say about his race, I think, the better. But Speedster has won once again. Let me go onto a blue screen and let me invite the drivers in to the party for the top 3 interviews. I should have them all on my friends list, so it shouldn't be too bad. I haven't got Emmanuel on my friends list, which is great. Let's invite Mr. Speedster. There's Speedster there. We've got Venom, haven't we? His long name that I try to remember every single time. There's Venom and Emmanuel, who you suggested to the party, but I'll try and find him. Oh, there he is there. Fantastic. Yeah, there we go. There's the 3 invited. I'll give them I'll suggest Emmanuel again, just in case. There we are. Beautifully done.
Well, I have to say that was much better racing, much better, exciting battle race to commentate on than Monza, Donington, or Brno. So, yeah, that was good. Obviously it's going to be way better with more drivers, and the pacer seemed to be closer with everybody. So that was good.
Yeah, much better race on a whole, I think, and no need for safety cars, which shows racing can be done without them.
Absolutely.
But
Emmanuel's here.
I do believe, I was going to say, I think Emmanuel has joined us in the commentary box. Emmanuel, are you here?
Yeah.
How was your
Hey,
race out
buddy.
there?
It was okay. It wasn't a bad race. I think I could have done way more than I did today, but the track penalties and Imola did not make for a very good combination on this game. So I tried my best, but I that was a second place. That was fifth to second, honestly, on merit. But track penalties got me at the end. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was I was really happy to see you up in P2 just on merit, just on that pace. Shame with those penalties because I think anybody who drives this game is or on that track is going to get penalties no matter what. Just a shame. I think you picked up 3 seconds or 2 seconds the last lap or last few laps or so, and I think that dropped you down. But who cares? It's the podium. But shows that you got the pace and shows that you deserve the second place, the podium. So congrats, man.
thank you.
Yeah, really good race from Emmanuel. And next week, I do believe we go to Sugo for the action next week, where it is going to be cloudy, I think. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
I don't know. It's I haven't really ever had each season we've done at Sugo. I haven't ever shown what I could actually do around that track. So I'll just approach it the same way I did this one, and hopefully it can work out the same.
Hopefully it will. And yeah, thank you very much, and I'll let you get on with your evening.
Yeah, congrats
you.
again, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
And I wonder if Venom has got a mic. I hope he has, because he should be joining up in the commentary box for his interview. If he's not, I'll try and conduct one through Discord. But he has got the invite there, so hopefully he'll join. I don't know what to do until then.
We do have the championship leader.
Oh, has Speedster joined? Oh,
Hi, how are you?
hello. I didn't even see you join the party. My
Mr.
bad.
Speed.
Mr. Speed,
I don't
Mr.
know
Consistent.
Okay, like I've said it before, there was that one race. What was it? It was the race before Brno. What was the race before Brno?
Nürburgring, and then also I've messed up in Algarve. I had 2 bad races, pretty much.
It was Nürburgring. I remember, and I said something to you, and it was a bit directed and a bit aggressive towards you on your driving and your consistency and just your racecraft and whatnot. And I think from Brno onwards, you've been a completely different driver, and it's not even the same. So I've been actually quite impressed, and you've been the class of the field ever since then. I think that's 4 races in a row. So that's unbelievable, and you just seem to know when to push, when not to push, and just seem to have everything under control at the moment. So, but how is the race for you?
I mean, I think at this point in the season, I mean, I've always felt comfortable in this car, but at this point in the season, kind of part of the reason why I've been doing so well, just because I have a very good feeling of how my car reacts to the setup. And, I think that's just starting to show more as we go throughout the year. I mean, I had a couple bad races in the beginning, Algarve and Nürburgring, which, all that really was just 2 millisecond instances of contact, which ruined my race, which, I learned from and has been able to bounce back from here. In terms of today, I had a good start. I really did. I reacted to one of the lights. I saw Andy got a drive-through because the lights were delayed a little bit, and so he what he does is he times it, because like 9 times out of 10 that you can time the lights on project cars, but sometimes they go a little later, and I think that's what happened today and caught Andy out. The same thing happened to me in Touring Car Nürburgring, Touring Car Hockenheim earlier this season. So I saw he got a penalty, and I was a little afraid about him maybe jumping me, but I just held the inside into turn 1, no contact. I think Venom was on my outside. Whoever was on my outside backed out, which pretty much left me with clean air going throughout the rest of the lap, and just normal driving from that on. Now I was planning on pitting, but I wasn't sure if everyone else was going to be able to make it on fuel. My calculations had showed that I had to pit, but I felt like maybe with a little bit of luck, maybe especially with a safety car too, people would have made it to the end without a stop. So I was trying to really push in the beginning, and the back end was not feeling too fantastic in the first 20 minutes or so. So I almost spun a couple times. I went off track a few as well, and that was simply me just trying to find the pace in the car. But I think then towards the second half, I kind of calmed down a little bit. I was able to settle into the race a little bit more and able to pull out a bit of a gap. and then I saw Venom pit, and then when I saw him pit, I knew that I pretty much had the race win in the bag if I just, drove cautiously and just brought the car home. So it's pretty much what happens. I then pit, and I think I ended it with like a 30-second gap to second because Venom, I think, had stop difficulties, something like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was a good race. I wish there was a safety car. I really do. It would have made it so fun. But maybe next week someone will make a mistake and kill half the grid, and we can have a safety car for once.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty much my race.
Didn't sound like too much of a boring race, to be honest, but still. Sugo next week.
It wasn't boring only because the car kept me on my toes the entire time. Because this track with the curbs, the penalties, I really had to keep my focus up. I mean, the penalties were bad. I only had 2 seconds, but that's because I let off about 5 times for track warnings.
Yeah.
At least, maybe more. So penalties were bad. The curbs were bouncing that rear end off, and then into second to last corner, that braking zone downhill, kept locking the rears, and the car would step out a little bit. Almost absolutely yeeted the car into the gravel one time, but I was able to save it. So yeah.
Don't think we caught that, luckily, which was not too bad.
Yeah.
I think we did catch a mistake through Villeneuve, though, if I'm not mistaken. Unless you were. This was towards the end of the race, I think, about 10 minutes from the end, I think.
What is it, Sector 1?
Sector 1, yeah, through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah. I remember that. I turned a little early. I think I caught the curb, and that was another millisecond of rotation, and I would have spun for sure. But I normally, if I was in a battle, I would try to save it and not lose time. But I just said, just get the wheel straight, and so I get the wheel straight. I put it into the gravel, which lost me about 3-4 seconds, but a much better outcome than spinning. And so that's what happened there. I think I just hopped the curb too much. But yeah.
I think, honestly, even if you fully spun, you still would have won.
Yeah, in the end, yeah, but sometimes you can spin, hit a wall, get damaged. You don't know what that can do. So, I'm happy I kept it out of the wall.
Yeah, of course, and obviously Sugo next week as well. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
Sugo.
And in the rain as well.
Well, Sugo.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Oh, God, if it was
No,
in the rain like last
I've looked
season.
at the IndyCar series. That's my bad.
Oh, you scared me. Yeah, last season, professional, I had a little tassel. Sugo, I remember that. But
yeah.
I drove it recently for the G Challenge when we were doing GT3. The McLaren GT3 is like a time trial thing on Project Cars. So I drove it recently in that. In terms of a track, it's fun, it's flowing. Similar to Donington, it's asphalt and grass. There's no real curbs, so that's going to be difficult because there's really no room for error. If you run a little wide, you get on the grass, which can really mess you up and cause you to spin. So that's going to be tough to manage. Other than that, I'm looking forward to it. It's a short lap, so I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Might be a pit stop, might not. I'm going to have to calculate that all out. I will say one thing, though, that the chicane of those massive curves is going to be a pain. I already know.
Yes. It's going to be really hard to deal with.
You have to send it over and hope you hit it in the right angle and it doesn't launch in the air. Just what you have to do through those corners. So I'll be doing practice this week figuring out how to take that. But other than that small thing in the way, I think it's going to be a fun race. Hopefully we can have an exciting one. Hopefully, I know it sounds bad to say I hope someone crashes, but I really hope there's a safety car. I really want to experience that. It's so fun. It really is. And maybe that can also throw some strategy into the mix, because if we do have to pit, that could definitely be an important factor, having a safety car. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Hopefully there's if you say there's a safety car, hopefully it's not you that causes it or you that's in it. That would be bad karma.
That would be what we call irony.
The irony, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I will let you go, Speedster. Congratulations on the win. I think it's the 5th of the season, if I'm not mistaken, so well done on that. And championship leader, I'll let you get on with your night.
Right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I will see you all next week. Thanks, as always, for your excellent commentary. And congratulations to the podium. I think it was Venom and Emmanuel. So yeah, I'll see you guys all later.
See ya.
Adios, amigos.
Oh, and that is the end of our interviews here tonight. Venom, sadly not available for an interview. Hopefully he'll be able to get a purchase of mic, so he'll be able to join us in the commentary box whenever he does get a podium. It'll be fantastic to hear him on the mic and to tell you his thoughts. But we go to Sugo next week, not in the rain as what I said there. It is going to be cloudy conditions, I do believe. How do you think the racing's going to get on around there?
I think it's going to be quite tricky, to be honest. It's quite a narrow track, just from my experience of racing the GT3s last season and the GT4s 2 seasons ago. There's really no room to pass. I mean, if you want to make a pass, you're going to have to be very close to the person in front, which, if they're any sort of defensive, they're going to defend that position, defend that line. So I expect to see some contact next week. Hopefully not too much spins and crashes, but I do expect to see, some contact and maybe a safety car or two because of that. That's just the nature of the circuit, and there's a few different lines you can take through turn 1, turn 2, and especially that run up to turn 4, I think, where we had that huge parking lot collision last season. It's just the nature of that track. So we'll see what happens, and that last turn, that huge banked right-hander is going to also offer a lot of different lines, and people are going to go down the inside or the outside, so I think it'll be interesting. It'll be a really good, fun race to watch.
It's going to be really interesting to watch, and I hope you can join us once again next week for all of the action as we unfold it through at Sugo. But from myself and Professional, that is the end of tonight's stream. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell if you are new. You can tell my voice is going. I'm voice cracking pretty much everywhere now. But thank you so much for watching. I've been James Head. He's been 007 Professional. Please take care of yourselves, and we will see you next week once again for CRC LMP3 Round 10 from Sugo. But if you don't want to tune in for that, we've got action next week for TTML Round 2 at Vietnam as well. But until then, goodbye.